People, hello and welcome to the Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. I think should be part 11. We're about to recruit Cassia, our ship Navigator. And I guess this is where chapter 1 should end also. Not sure. We're about to find out. So, we received some great loot out of this fight the last time. The entire map is done. And off we go. Elevator up. That's Cassia. What on earth is happening, man? The pale figure with a naturally long limb stands with her arms raised, her hands deformed with talon-like nails. Her deathly pale face is coated with blood that continually streams from her scarlet misted eyes. Her spiny gels, slightly hidden under her disheveled hair, twitch nervously at your approach. Only now do you notice the third eye on the young woman's forehead, hidden by a jeweled ornament, and when your eyes meet, you sense overwhelming, soul-smothering power. Willpower check failed. No, you fucking don't. We want to succeed because I want to see what's happening.
It's about time.
Willpower check succeeded. You're enveloped in despairing grief. An invisible hand closes around your throat, cutting off your breath. Your limbs seem to fill with lead. Your heart hammers in your chest and a desire to turn and flee. From this room, from this station, almost gets the better of you. At the last moment you master your emotions, and your will pushes back against the illusion, forcing it to retreat. What vile creature is this, Argenta? Rid the world of this heresy. Benevolentia, adherent, overcome the crushing despair. I know why I'm here, and so I will stand strong against any illusion. Lady Cassia, I'm here to help you. Please calm yourself. By the Emperor, if you do not stop your sorcery immediately, I will shoot you in the head. Wunder, stop your sorcery now. We owe it benevolentia. Abelard, is this Lady Cassia, I presume? Benevolentia. You direct all your attention inwards to your heart, currently shackled by another suffering. Under the gaze of your burning inner eye, the despair and pain begin to dwindle. The darkness in your soul dissipates, the lump in your throat shrinks, and you discover that you're standing in front of a bizarre creature, a young woman whose tears you seem to have dried on a woody road. I wish they would just stop crying. Okay, it's fine in the first 5-10 seconds and then just stop. It's irritating. For the ears. Very irritating. Especially when you need to read. She wearily shakes her head and lets out a drawn-out sound similar to both a sob and a howl of a small wounded animal. What's happening? Was someone calling my name? Are all the betrayers dead already? And you? Who are you? Von Valancius, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Pardon my manners, I did not expect to make such a gracious acquaintance in such a time of great sorrow for our house. What is this until fate? Theobald Orsilio. Ah, that's another Orsilio. I know, I killed one down there. The heavyset old man who has been kneeling nearby erupts into low sobs, his eyes swollen from crying, dart desperately around the room, as though the veil of ignorance had just been ripped away from them. The child, Lady Cassia, where are you, sacred child? Throne preserved. Despite his venerable age, the Navigator leaps up and rushes to the young woman's side. You, the old man shifts, revealing his face to you. It is threaded with jet-black veins, and his bulging, milky eyes bear a striking resemblance to those of a dead fish. A sickly sweet scent assaults your nostrils, as if the old man's flesh is rotting inside his decaying mask. My eyes fail me, for they are unable to make you out as either enemy or ally. I'm warning you, one wrong move will bring the wrath of the House Orsilio down upon your head. There is only one Orsilio left as far as I can tell. At present, I'm trying to determine what is happening on Eurac V. I mean you no harm. I come to seek the Navigator's aid. Alright, dispatch Felek. Do you wanna follow him? At present, I'm trying to determine what is happening on Eurac V. Succeeds! I'll grant that you do not look like pirates who have come coveting the riches of Rykad Station, or like scoundrels in Felek's service. So who are you? To you, old man, I'm your lordship rogue trader. Abelard introduces his lordship rogue trader, Von Valancius, heir to the greatest protectorate in the Corona's expanse and bearer of the sacred warrant of trade, extends his greetings. Another rogue trader in our corner of the galaxy. How interesting. Your kind always makes an appearance in desperate times, ready to cut a deal that benefits one side alone. Given that you have not so far drawn your weapons, your intentions are probably peaceful, and so House Orsilio now asks a service of you. Save the life of the child in exchange for the future cooperation. Do not hurry to answer. Think on it. You can make yourself an ally or an enemy of House today. You decide. You look frightening. You were not supposed to see me, or Felek, or the Sacred Child. Navigators are highly paid for their loyal service to the Imperium according to his will. No one would dare judge the guides of humanity, the chosen of the Galactic Sovereign himself. And what is the curse that has taken hold of everyone in this room? Curse, you do not understand the sacred gift given to our child. When the child is sad, we all weep. When the child smiles, we all laugh, giddily. And if the child wants blood, the world turns crimson. The child's will is the will of the great Tisiphone, for she is the heir of House Orsilio. What happened between you and Felek? Felek is my wayward student. He came to Eurac V as a callow youth. I personally mentored him and entrusted him with the care of the child. He was like a son to me, but he proved to be just another traitor. He sought to steal our most precious treasure, the heir of the house, our sacred child. Good thing I killed him down there. The revel in power, with others like him, casting our house into the abyss, to pervert the centuries-long traditions of our family. You can see the fruits of his villainy for yourself. He decided he was not bound by his duties to the legacy of the greatest of our innovators, Tisiphone Orsilio, who led our house to prosperity for countless years. Foolish boy, the renegades clouded his mind. They sought to seize control of the dynasty before the sacred child had come of age and taken up the Novator's throne. Felek accused you of treachery, Theobald. Why should I trust your words? How could you lose control of your own station? How could you lose control of your own station? Do not trust my errors in my face. I'm twice your age and twice as wise. Take my advice, trust no one but yourself and the Emperor. Even those closest to you will betray you for gold, power, or a far-fetched idea of a bright future. True. What service do you ask of me? Felek accused you of treachery, Theobald. Why should I trust your words? Defending myself before strangers that I will fall so low. If the child's life were not at stake, very well, I have no choice or proof of my innocence. I can give you my word as a member of the Navy's nobility. If the honest word of an honorable man counts for anything with you, I guarded this station against calamity and incursions from without the best of my ability. I forced the wardens to strictly observe security protocols. I personally selected every servant, and I faithfully protected the child during the coup. What do you want? Save the sacred child, take her away from the station. I fear I do not have long left. The blush rivulet trickles down the old man's chin, and he wipes the mutated blood brusquely away with his sleeve. You glimpse strange burns covering his flesh under his clothing. The slightest movement must be causing him unbearable pain. Save the child and deliver her safely to Regent Aronto, acting head of a House Arcelia in the Coronos Expanse. Rest assured that the reward will be worth your effort. You are talking as though you expect to die here. My service to the house is coming to an end. The wounds Felek inflicted on my flesh will never heal. I'm dying. Praise the throne, slowly enough to see the child is taken care of. If you need help, there's a Medicare deck on my ship. No, I'm the keeper of Eurac V and I will perish along with my station. On that note, I have other matters to attend to. The decision. Share your thoughts. Cassia shall come with me. Allow us to say our proper farewells. Theobald coughs up more bluish blood. It stains the armor plate on his chest, but he remains standing. Wake up, my mistress, my sacred child. It's all over now. It is over. What happened? I remember you did arrive to save us. Child, please listen to me very carefully for one last time. You will now embark on a voyage with this lord to rejoin the house and its regent in the Coronos Expanse. I will not be able to accompany you on the journey for a variety of reasons. Not you too. Don't leave me alone in this violet and brown haze. You're coming with me. Your mistress demands that you hear. The heat of despair that is not yours washes over you. Sweat covers your palms and your heart freezes in panic. Mistress, I fear this will be your only order that I dare to disobey. I'm the keeper of Eurac V, and alas, I have less than a single day left in me. Allow me to serve you one last time, and under my final duty to House Arcelia, I will remain on the station and destroy the secret it holds. Theobald, the crimson tears stain the Lady Navigator's white skin once again, but this time her power does not make everyone weep along with her. What need I have for your regrets? I just want things to go back to the way they were before. What were you going to do with me? You must sign the contract if you wish to leave the station alive. You will pledge to be my navigator until I release you from service. Lady Cassia, let us aid one another. Become my navigator and I will return you to House Arcelia at the earliest opportunity. Making an unfavorable deal when the other side is desperate. Just like I thought, you do not have an ounce of honor in you. Theobald turns his fish-like eyes away in disgust and addresses Cassia. Child, let this deed be a lesson to you, a cruel lesson, but you will have to accept this state of affairs for now so the house can achieve its goals. Remember what matters that you reach Regent Toronto. Accompanying a rogue trader in their journeys is an honor for any navigator. Let us go. I can no longer bear the sight of the deathly pale shadows that drape the bodies of the fallen. And we got Cassia. I expected a fight, but that's not gonna happen. So now we go check out Cassia. Cassia is a leader. A limited leader. With huge willpower and fellowship. We go with the willpower. That's a lot of levels, by the way, on Cassia. And we're gonna go with Lord Warp, because she is a navigator and she should have warp maxed out. The range of her abilities increased by 3. Now we're gonna go with willpower. And we're gonna go with move. And here we're gonna go with Lord Warp. What you got down there? What are you? Holy shit. Navigator occupation, all of this is new. When a navigator uses a navigator's power that hasn't been used this combat, the navigator gains 2 perception until the end. Enemies damaged by the navigator suffer damage from warp. Ebb and flow. Second, fourth, sixth turn, the navigator gains additional action point every odd turn. First, third, and so on. She gains plus 20 perception. This is interesting. For now. All enemies within the range of the navigator sight have their dodge and hit chances reduced. Holy shit. Just by having them in her sight reduces their dodge and hit chance. With perception bonus with Eye of Oblivion. Navigator Pot powers deal +1 additional damage every 5 bonus characteristic of the currently equipped Navigator Staff. We got a Navigator Staff. Castigating, Infusing, Devastating count as characteristics. Mastery of Time. +5 to Willpower. Mastery of Matter. Resistance checks. Resistance checks. If perception is higher than agility, and it is, navigator dodge is calculated for perception instead. Whoa. When a navigator uses navigator ability, veil degradation is reduced by 1. Really? Navigator heal. Willpower bonus wounds at the beginning of every turn and gains +1 wound for every navigator talent token. Enemies moved by navigator's abilities get bonus. Damage increased by +2. No. Whenever an enemy fails resistant checks against navigator power attack. Perception. Crits. Enemies damaged by the navigator suffer additional bonus damage with perception from all attacks of opportunity. Reduce armor of enemies with willpower bonus. Multiplies with 2, that will be 20 armor reduced. Allies that are targeted by the navigator's abilities gain +5 to all resistance checks against warp effects. Good against demons. Navigator gains +5 fellowship and additional +1 fellowship for every navigator talent. Allies that are targeted by the navigator's power gain +10 armor. Enemies affected by her powers have their armor reduced. She starts all turns, including extra turns, with additional 3 movement points. The first ally she targets each turn with a single target ability gains the same amount of additional move. Yeah, the fun. So move is move. As far as I can tell. The one that I picked, Ebb and Flow, is just way too fucking good right now. Warp is maxed out. Persuasion is maxed out. We go with Lore Imperium now. And now we got Heroic ability upgrade. This turn, the target deals leaders what? FB. This is Fellowship. Awareness. What's FB, man? Cleanse all negative effects from the target. The target cannot die. I took that on myself. The target gains 3 times temporary wounds until the end of combat. Check what's the freaking FB. Any kill made by the target this turn? Nah, that's for aggressive. I'm taking the same one as for myself. I think it's great because the target cannot die. Lore Imperium. Fellowship. Apply. Okay, we're done with Cassia. I need to speak with Cassia, I need to speak with Pasqal on a ship bridge.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Lady Cassia's medic. The painting was made by different people. The timid, uncertain lines are followed by rough, furious strokes forming arcane shapes.
A new challenge for me.
Lady Navigator's private libraries bring with essays, novels, personal accounts from the trailblazers and the explorers of the Imperium. A luxurious feast. There should be some secrets, okay, something for awareness to trigger. Whatever, okay, some loot. Go down. And let's get out. We are done. Void ship bridge. Cassia. And my throne. Let's still not fix this camera, man. Make it in the middle so you can see the character and the main character, okay? So you can see them both. There is exactly enough space that needs to be done. Lord Captain, Lady Navigator, welcome aboard. The Sanctum Navis has been prepared for the communion ritual, but if the Lady Navigator wishes to rest in her quarters first. Your heart starts beating furiously, your breaths come short and choppy, and your fingertips tingle unpleasantly. You notice that Vigdis is shivering slightly, and the crew are glancing around in puzzlement, searching for the source of this sudden wave of unease. Without even looking at the Vox Master, Cassia waves her away. First, I wish to speak with the rogue trader. Leave us. Of course, when you're ready for the ritual, please let me know. Cassia sweeps her pensive gaze over Vigdis, then lowering. This is the only way I can see both. Then lowering her lashes slightly, turns to you. What did you wish to speak about? After a few seconds hesitation, Cassia lets out a small exhale and then raises her pointed chin. I've not yet thanked you for saving me on the station. My thoughts were clouded with so much mournful ash when Theobald's heart stopped. But you acted honorably and did not exploit me in my wretched position, and for that I'm immeasurably grateful. But now I'm ready to go to the Sanctum Navis and perform the sacred rite. I require brushes, canvas, and the best paints you have on board, but no red. Why do you refuse red paint? It's my habit to use the blood of my attendants so as to preserve my own. However, given the current circumstances, my own will serve even better. The blood of the Navy's nobility is sacred, and so is more suitable for the communion ritual. Why are you asking for these items? You're asking questions, the answers to which you cannot comprehend. Perhaps I may explain it to you at a later time. Now our time is too precious to waste. As a navigator of House Urselio, I give you my word that without canvas and paint, we have little hope of a smooth journey through the warp. I have no reason to lie. Tell me more about what the ritual entails. I doubt the uninitiated could understand the mysteries of navigation, but I shall try to explain the essence of it. I must merge my mind and will with the machine spirit of the ship, so that I become one with the vessel. Cassia lifts a lock of hair from the back of her neck, revealing gilded implant ports. After that, I use the House Urselio ritual, which I am loath to reveal to you, to free my mind of all errant thoughts. And then it's time to open my third eye and peer into the depths of the warp itself. Among the nightmarish visions, mirages, and creatures of the abyss, only the light of the Emperor is the truth that will lead me from the star to star, from system to system. Oh, the light, the guiding thread, so fine it can slip from one's grasp at any moment. She unfurls her hand as though dropping something, but you have nothing to worry about. The navigators of House Urselio never lose their course. I'll ensure that you have all necessary supplies. I'll take my leave for the duration of the rite. I ask that you not follow me. You can survive the gaze of my warp eye when it's open. Who's this Yvain? Vox Master. Vox Master. Lord Captain, I'll oversee the open channel between the Lady Navigator and the bridge. May the Emperor Light help us all. Here we go. And I still couldn't find Heinrichs. Lord Captain, congratulations on acquiring a navigator. Spare me a few moments of your time, please. There are several matters that require your attention. First of all, I want to report on the condition of the station Eurac V. Regrettably, we arrived too late to evacuate the residents of the station. The warp disruptions affecting Eurac V twisted the bodies and minds of its attendants. The corruption failed to affect Lady Cassia. Thank the Emperor. The navigators are trained to resist the Materium's pull. With your permission, I would also like to remind you that we're still in need of more men and women for the crew. We have not yet located Heinrich von Kellox, the right hand of Lord Inquisitor, the person who vanished in the shadows of the star system, but not on Eurac V, as we now can attest. Keep this in mind when making your future plans. Why is it always business with you, Vigdis? Could you sometimes just visit and tell me how wonderful the things really are? Certainly, Lord Captain, if you're interested. This week passed with a record low rate of minor disturbances on the lower decks. A senior technomat from Shift 8 came up with a new formula for lubricant using the kitchen servitor implant maintenance. The quartermaster of store compartment 11 reported recently that we're spending ceremonial decorations at least 20% slower than expected, which means we have enough tablecloths, carpets and lamps to last us 15 years of grand receptions instead of 10, even considering some of the stock was burned during the cultist attack on the vessel. Okay, whatever you say. Points of interest: the prison planetoid, Rykad Majoris, Thunderfang. There is nothing else left. Man, I need to find fucking Heinrichs. Let's go to the bridge. I need to speak with Pasqal, I need to speak with Cassia. And then we'll see what's next. Ay. Ay, ay, ay. Let's drive. Let's drive the invisible throne. Where's Pasqal? We need to speak, Pasqal. Pasqal, shrouded in his crimson robe, greets you with a soft voice synthesized by the Vox system. The Omniscient knows all, comprehends all. Ancient rites growing out of the tech priest's back swivel in your direction as we examining you with curiosity. Oh my god. I had some questions about your visit to Rykad Minoris. Request approved. Ready to provide the necessary info. What brought you to Rykad Minoris? Came heeding the call of my mentor, the blessed Archmagus Amarnath. We were supposed to meet on Rykad Minoris and discuss my mission. People who wanted to kill you at the port weren't renegades, it was just a cover. Thank you. Information acknowledged. I'll analyze it and take additional security measures. What do you think of this able honeyman? I propose that it was the blessed Amarnath who assumed this name. This name is assigned to me. His presence in the hands of heretics is categorically unacceptable. The canon of technological security commands that every effort be made to rescue such a high-ranking bearer of knowledge. I want to know more about your past. The request approved. I have no outright restrictions on disclosing this information. Where are you from? Information about my origins is worthless. I belong to the Brotherhood of Explorators and come to the Coronis Expanse over 200 years ago. Any events preceding that moment are insignificant. How did you end up in the Coronis Expanse? I was honored to become a member of the Explorator Connaissance fleet when the Adeptus Mechanicus summoned the faithful for an exploratory venture into the depths of the Coronis Expanse. I joined the fleet in fulfillment of my sacred vows of comprehension. Why not with the fleet then? Archmagus Amarnath, my blessed mentor, commanded me to crew the orbital station Altar Templum Calixis X-17. This venerable temple station was founded in the early years of our expansion into Coronis Expanse. It's currently a rear observation post of the Cognizance fleet in orbit around the star Furibundus. Who are the explorators? Sacred fraternity of explorers, the cult Mechanicus sent us south the frontiers of the known sectors as researchers and conquerors. We're the warriors of the code who return to the lost worlds and devote themselves to recovering the lost ancient knowledge. Explorators are granted the privilege of being more independent than many of our brothers. However, it has earned us a reputation as unstable and poorly controlled troublemakers whose unorthodox views are dangerously close to apostasy. Tell me about your mechandrites. Voice coming from the Vox synth change is becoming strangely softer, blooming with low, warm undertones. They are my younger brothers and guides on the way to the Omnissiah. Their machine spirits are directly bound to my neocortex and pick up impulses from my subconscious. Sometimes they act ahead of my thoughts. This is how the Omnissiah leads me to comprehension. Tell me more about Adeptus Mechanicus. Honored to belong to the Omnissiah priesthood of Mars. Guided by his tenets, we safeguard technology against the impure and unenlightened. Why did you mention Mars? That is where the cult of Omnissiah originated, and where we were granted the first revelations. Many millennia ago we made an alliance with the Emperor of Terra, and served the Imperium ever since, paying a tribute of machinery, weapons and void ships. Everything that bears the blessed seal of machinery comes from our hands, and it is we who make sure the operating rituals are performed as they were meant to. We are everywhere. We are the Mars Force steel bars that give the Imperium strength. What do you mean you guard it? It's not buried treasure, it's not a secret. It's both a treasure and a secret. Technology is how the divinity of the Omnissiah manifests itself in this world. This is why the uninitiated may only be allowed to touch the most vulgar and mundane of its instances. We, on the other hand, are authorized to use the sacred catechism of maintenance and operation. Although, there is another reason to deny lay people the sacrament of knowledge. It can be dangerous. Twisted by renegades, the Omnissiah wisdom is called heretic. And the exposure to it may corrupt the uninitiated. Another danger is knowledge strangely interpreted and inscrutably twisted by the minds of Xenos. This bane is called xenotech. Sacred objects should be touched only by worthy hands. This statement is true. What many consider chains on our way to comprehension is our armor, which we have inherited from our wisdom-blessed predecessors. Do you hold a high position in our fraternity? Pasqal exposes his wrist. The glowing green threads of an electric tattoo run under the pale skin that has long forgotten the taste of sunlight. This electio indicates that I'm a magus who has mastered the sacraments of many spheres of knowledge, and has the right to conduct services in the Forge Cathedral. What's the Omnissiah, in your understanding? Is the divine mechanism, the maker of technology. The universe was made to resemble a mechanical marvel because of the Omnissiah rules over it. Knowledge is the highest form that he uses to manifest in the world. For now, someday he will come to this world in the absolute fullness of his splendor. The Adeptus Mechanicus worship the Emperor. He is the earthly manifestation of the Omnissiah, who brought humanity into the light of divine grace. Basically, it's the same thing by them, okay? Omnissiah and the Emperor. What is behind the Adeptus Mechanicus' enthusiasm for replacing flesh with augmentation? Basically, Omnissiah and the Emperor would be the God and Jesus, one and the same. Okay, that's Omnissiah and the Emperor. What is behind the Adeptus Mechanicus' enthusiasm for replacing flesh with the augmentations? Organic tissue is an imperfect replica of the machine, transient and vulnerable. Metal is more stable, more effective and more durable. Flesh speak is flowed next to binaric language. Meat begets weakness. It softens the mind and undermines discipline, but you can replace metal when it wears down. In addition, a machine is a supreme form of knowledge, and by assuming mechanical form, we become closer to the Omnissiah. However, like all things sacred, our augmentations must be defiled by the eyes of the ignorant, which is why we reveal only the crudest of tools, while holier mechanisms remain concealed beneath our crimson robes. An interesting superstition? Not a superstition, a gracious truth. You got a strange way of speaking. Is that because of the augmentations, or does your fate dictate how you should express yourself? Partially true. I had a voice modulator implanted alongside the respiratory purification model, but there is an additional reason. Gothic is not my first language. I'm used to thinking and making statements in lingua technics. The binaric language is more informative, more ergonomic, and less prone to misinterpretation. Well, we got some rough but very good info from Pasqal about Mechanicus, about Messiah, and about him. Where is my Navigator? Cassia. There you are. Drive, Cassia. Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations. Tell me about yourself, Cassia. Part of House of Celio, an ancient dynasty of Navis nobility. Since the time immemorial, our family has served to advance knowledge, pushing at the boundaries of the dark unknown. The Starway Atlas contains 2,843 routes that chart the sectors of the Segmentium Obscurus and reach all the way from Cornus Expanse to Holy Terra. Listen in silence. Uniting the Imperium thousands of worlds, House Orcelio is bound by commercial pacts of House Galeatis, Hortmine, Drotius, and there is a dark blue knot tightening on your neck, Lord Captain. I can see my reply is not that satisfying your thirst for knowledge. What do you wish to hear? Is answering a simple question that difficult as you navigators identify so strongly with their house? It must be difficult for you not to be able to lean on your elders, but you have my word that I will look after you. That will be most appreciated, Lord Captain. So you never lived anywhere other than Eurac V? Hardly. According to the chronicles of the house, I was born on one of the Orcelio worlds, Eurac V. Or was it? Please forgive me, Lord Captain, my childhood memories are too vague. Sometimes I dream about the colorful birds that build their nests in the garden, with the servants dressed in purple livery, or the blue fog that rolled over the lowlands behind the palace, but everything is covered in a rosy haze. Perhaps it's my imagination, not my memory, that is painting these pictures. Tell me about your life on the station. My stay on the station was wholly dedicated to preparing me for my future duty. Astromancy, astrography, numerology, the histories of my house and the Imperium, as well as other disciplines. For many years, dozens of instructors tirelessly prepared me for my destiny. Once a year, Great Regent Arontio would come to the station. He would entrust his beautiful vessel to my command so that I could master the practical aspects of our art as well. Did you have friends, someone you could turn to for a simple conversation, not a discussion of yet another lecture? The regent gave me a bird from a sunlit planet once. I tried to befriend it and make it sing, but for some reason it refused and died soon after. The instructors were too respectful of my duty to my house to waste precious time on idle chatter. Aside from them, there were only servants on the station, and you know they have their vocal cords removed so they cannot break their vow of silence. And since the subject has been breached, why do you not follow this honored tradition? Your decks are so garish, apologies. I meant noisy. The rebel don't just chatter, sometimes they shout and even sing. Why do you allow such a lack of restraint? Rogue traders are highborn, are they not? It's about time we made the decks quieter. I will have the lower ranks stripped of their vocal cords. A ruler cannot maim people just because it's his power to do so. On the contrary, it's the duty of every ruler to look after his subjects. You may find it difficult to believe, but the practice of depriving servants of their voice is not particularly widespread outside House Orcelio. I like the noise people make here, it fills the ship with life. We go with that. With life, if only you could take my place and watch this kaleidoscope. Every voice is a flash of color, every conversation a shimmering glow, every argument is an unstoppable swirl of gaudy splotches. What's your third eye? They always conceal it. Navigator's open eye is baneful to whoever the warp's ruinous shine falls upon, and therefore is the symbol of our power. We're the guiding stars of humanity, found worthy of an uncommon gift, and one of the duties that we bear is to guard our eye, even from the wayward glances that may bear evil. Besides, I'm aware that lesser servants of the Imperium may find our appearance repulsive. The Navigator gene twists the features the rebel are used to seeing, and the magnificence of our role cannot be grasped by the feeble minds. Yeah, beautiful Cassia, do not let anyone or anything convince you otherwise. Lord Captain, you're overstepping the bounds of propriety. What does it feel like to guide a vessel through the warp? It may be difficult to describe. You see, every navigator perceives the warp differently. My mentor, Great Regent Toronto, always described his travels through the Immaterium as a journey through a vast wood with countless paths. And I, assisting him in the first voyages, futilely tried to follow his example, but the wood would not reveal itself to me. But everything changed when I found my own key to this mystery. You see, I always brighten up my rare moments of leisure time by painting. You may recall there was a workshop in my chambers. That's why she needs a brush and everything. As soon as I imagined the warp as a blank canvas, an indescribable feeling came over me. I moved the brush, going deeper and deeper into my own painting. Visions were hidden within the vibrant colors of my palette, and something inside me knew which should be brought out and which should be left behind. I woke up several days later, after the voyage was safely completed. Notice that your love of painting is reflected in your speech as well. You associate so many images with hues and colors. The Emperor graced me a gift. I can see in her life in addition to the mundane. You cannot know that a fruit has rotten from the inside until a blade slices it in two. I can see the rot from far, far away. It rose like swamp mud, oozing through the bright peel. Anger and boredom, sadness and joy, everything that people shut away inside themselves is revealed to me like colors of the canvas of my world. Why do we talk about something else? Tell me about the House Orcelio. As the only voice of our family on this vessel, it's an honor, as long as your questions are courteous. I will answer every one of them. Is the Orcelio prophecy system named after your ancestor? You are shrewd indeed. My ancestor charted that route while fleeing the enemies of humanity. They say Emperor himself was his guide, because the warp expelled their vessel without a single loss. Unfortunately, the lips of those who relayed this tale sip with disgusting green hubris. I think Kaelin Orcelio was simply a skilled navigator. And who rules the house? Just as a rogue trader stands at the head of Protectorate, a Novator heads a Navigator house. It's the Novator who decides where to look for alliances and which path their bloodline is destined to tread. As for our house, the transfer of power to a successor is currently underway. In the meantime, Great Regent Toronto Orcelio is ensuring the stability of the house. I take it House Orcelio has a rich history. Yes, the navigators of the house came to Kronos' Expanse fairly recently, a mere 208 years ago. Before that, our ancestor expanded the borders of humankind dominion for the glory of the Emperor, blazing trails to different corners of the galaxy. You lived in seclusion on a close station until Felek committed his sabotage, so then you must be the Novator's successor. So says Regent Toronto. Nothing is decided yet. Some people in the house become enshrouded in roiling grey clouds at the thoughts of me becoming the Novator. But even more are bound with dull leaden chains. They think I'm not ready for such a burden. What does your special sight reveal? Sister Argenta shines like a guiding star, inspiring resolve in those around her, seemingly inexplicably. However, I see a dark and ugly fog billow behind her. Contrasting sharply with her shining light, it burns as a sister of battle. It drags her down, yet Argenta herself is hardly aware of it. Seneschal Verserian is among the few whose colors are a pleasure to look at. That will be Abelard. Whenever the Seneschal speaks, heavenly crystal clarity spreads around him, and whenever he is angered, dark blue clouds condense over him. And in his rare moments of joy, a pure gleam of sunset pink caresses the souls of those near him. Out of your entire retinue, he is the only one I would trust with my life. The esteemed Magus Honeyman is shattered like a beautiful stained glass window into a mosaic of colors. His bright beckoning hues are mixed together in complete disarray. Must confess, it perplexes me. Normally scarlet and steel are all that fills the heart of a servant of the Omnissiah. Idira emotions are like a maelstrom, bright, unbridled, enveloping her form like a wondrous kaleidoscope of colors, and as dangerous as a twisting warp storm. Ulice. The riot of colors hides the truth from my eyes. What exactly is driving this woman? Is it her own will, or is it the materium, Lord Captain? We are done with... Now we spoke with all companions. Everyone we acquired so far. What, Master? What on earth is this? Mr. Helmsman Ravor. Lord Captain, Mr. Helmsman Ravor, at your service. You're a Voidborn, are you not? There I am, born to Helmsman clan in the bowels of a Chartist vessel. Born in the void. Tell me about the other officers. Good for nothing wasters. That's what they are. He doesn't like a single one. That he can't stand the seneschal. Do you like anyone at all? Let's drive to the map. Now, we did the Eurac V. Let me see if we can finally access Rykad. Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you. There's some pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Verserian's voice. In any case, I want to warn you in advance. What is it now? The sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice the loudest of all. This is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. The young woman... The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her superior anger. She falters but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir. I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant, you may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence towards a high-ranking officer will be logged on your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avril Vent, requesting permission to speak on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. I'm convinced that this step is unwarranted and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Verserian and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. There is insurrection in the making aboard my ship and no one has informed me. I would not deem it a problem worthy of a rogue trader's attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore the order, but even 8 years later, we were still battling rumors that the hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Needless to say, the rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I'm sure that if Rogue Trader addresses the malcontents directly, he will quell the unrest. I dread to think what problem you will disturb the Rogue Trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up brawls in the mess room. Already given you the means to resolve this problem, you simply need to use them. If I may, sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. How did it start? Could boil every minute. I'll give you the condensed version. Began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed in a drunken brawl. Reported up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed and opened an investigation. No pirates been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers. And how come Seneschal Verserian come into all of this? I'll explain. Time is running out. Since my competence is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of that system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I always handled internal problems myself, so of course when I received information about pirates hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valancius will find refuge on her ship. You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Verserian. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. You've driven the people to the brink. Now there is a strike on the lower decks in Depot 4, to be precise. 3 worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. Situation could generate into an all-out insurrection, but when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force. What you gotta say, Abelard? What's Depot 4 first? One of the poorest sectors on the lower decks, home to clans of general laborers. Not valuable to the ship as the families who have served. A specialized system for generations, they're an easily replaceable resource, and one which is now, or besides giving security pirates and minions of the arch enemy. Poor and troubled, but at worst, that means drunken fights are illegal. Rykad brewing. Handled the workers in Depot 4 in the past. We would have done so again if the crackdown of Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh. And another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to this sector. It's located on one of the most populated lower decks. Everything that happens there has a knock-on effect on all the neighboring sectors. What you gotta say, Abelard? No need to add anything. Acted with the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault unit and speak directly to the people. You will see they're not lying or harboring pirates. That way you will stop the uprising before it begins. I'm certain the Seneschal was acting within his authority. I'll verify the soundness of his decisions for myself. An enterprise bordering of a sophomoric, but please yourself, Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. There we go. Shit, we could have said it. Abelard reflexively wipes the sweat from his brow in a staringly human gesture and a telling one, a rare moment where he allows his age and wariness to show through his armor like a veneer of a self-assurance. The lower decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locusts with servitors. The people dare to disrespect a senior officer. They would not have the chance to express such disrespect if we were not here, and the situation had been dealt with by the relevant officers. It's a junior officer's worst failing to pass problems up the chain of command, and never been able to abide it. I shall say it again, it was a mistake to come here on Lieutenant Went's whim, Lord Captain. I must admit that the Lieutenant is by no means the worst material for an officer, by no means. But in a time of terror, the girl is the same age as my eldest great-granddaughter, and she has the gall to tell me how to manage the lower decks and hunt down pirates. It will be another 20 years at least before she can be trusted to act without oversight. They were shouting your name, of course they are. Organization of daily routine life of the ship rests upon my shoulders. The mountain of challenges and problems which I endeavor to insulate you, Lord Captain. The situation of the lower decks has been a cause for concern. I intervened personally on more than one occasion. That must be why they remember me. They did not know your face. To them, you're akin to a creature of a legend, one who stood on the steps of a golden throne, no less. Whereas I am the man whose name is attached to every order, docking rations and lowering base keeping. Yeah. Hey, we got no more injuries, man. We're finally clean. Well,
Victory awaits!
that should be the correct order with these valves. I remember this from Alpha. Deck. You can take your orders and shout them. This is my deck and my sector. There are only 3 people who can waltz in here without my express permission. The first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. So not all my lessons fall on deaf ears. He mutters in crepey approval. Your lordship. What's the situation? The people locked down the bay where the strikers are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as far as resources allow. We encountered some locals on our way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. People are getting desperate, clearly. They saw the assault unit and they decided they had nothing left to lose. I mean, I apologize, Lord Captain, it is outrageous. I'm sure the people simply didn't recognize you. You would only have cured otherwise. We will deal with them once the current situation is resolved. Is that all you have to say, or sure worthy of an officer's rank, Lieutenant Went? I'll take steps to ensure such a thing does not happen again. I want to speak to the strikers. Abelard's mouth twists, but he restrains himself and says nothing. He wants to resolve this with weapons. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. Abelard is going mad. Funny man. Here we go. Dozen pair of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. Simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from the barely discernible to the strange to outright grotesque. Tell me what is troubling you. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up. Here's the deal, your lordship. Your damn enforcers are all over us down here. They say they're looking for pirates. One wrong word and they're reaching for their baitings. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to hold base for a week at a time, so we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness well in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer and makes a sign over herself. It's all true. Went is the only officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks and who grew up amidst ships and had no fellow feeling towards us. Your lordship, we're no villains here, we're honest workers, your servants. We plotted no disorder, we went on strike openly and now we got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. Persecution started. I proposed of nothing, you say. I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet and there are pirates hiding here. Cultist amulet, what's that? They took the amulet of the dead body. No pirates still breeding in our sector. Must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need amulets, we all worship the Emperor. I confirmed the information regarding the proper tending of the machine spirits in this sector. Servitors indicated as commoners are performing the sacraments they are permitted to know. Naive children, learning taught from an early age about the dangers of the archenemy's creations, were warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them. We were told Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I had my third little one. That's regrettable. You cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when the beast crawls out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who was not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down on himself and his neighbors? Got anything to add, Abelard? I authorize the use of all necessity measures to locate Chaos worshippers hiding in the sector. Specific steps taken by the officer were not reported to me. He frowns, clearly disgruntled at having to explain himself in the workers' presence. Nevertheless, I'm certain that their actions were justified. Heretic pirates are no drunken stevedores. They're the enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. We were attacked on the way here, how do you explain that? Here's an explanation, the people being pushed to their limit, and now they're lashing out. The words are sincere. What changes do you want? The exalted Lord Captain himself is asking us bilge rats what we want. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat and to stop battering everything that moves. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves as those pirates do show their faces. I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs cannot improve things around here. Gone too far, old man. They'll never let the maggots in the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers of the upper decks too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day is out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of the stupidity of drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hissing us, that will be enough. Mio. What's up, Abelard? He wants to smash. Spreading anarchy on a ship in the first step toward embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands would be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw those demands and we'll consider the rest. They agree. Persecution will stop. I'll expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapons left by the pirates. That's done. Now let's see these vents. They should unlock a hidden area if I remember well from the early alpha. In the right order, of course.
What is that?
Key.
A new challenge for me?
One went. Run up and down.
It's about time.
Which one is it now?
I'll lay claim to the stars. Victory awaits.
Did I miss some valve?
A new challenge for me?
Valve. A lot of valves.
It's about time. I'll lay claim to the stars. Victory awaits.
Damn it. Fuck. Which one is it?
Follow my lead. A new challenge for me.
An urgent matter to discuss with Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. I don't want to get out yet. Abelard, don't throw me. Are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You condoned the disloyal rebel. You believe their lies and show them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by pirates, the rebel will welcome them in open arms and allow them to wreak havoc. Because they see you as a weak leader. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valancius Protectorate? Let's talk about your role in this instead. You allowed this revolt to happen. Your actions practically guaranteed it would. I would have handled the situation myself had I not decided to intervene. Remember Lord Captain Theodora? Do you think she ever set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers, while she dedicated herself to her grand designs of the Protectorate, as any true strategist and a rogue trader ought. There's a new sheriff in town. Maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. There's a new Lord Captain aboard this ship now. I will not repeat her mistake. Commend your decisiveness, but I'm uncomfortable with intruding new protocols in the midst of crisis. And I lost my temper. I believe I ought to explain. Prosperity of the Von Valancius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the sign of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds. They create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I'd known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers, on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly everything that had been built over the years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hangar in a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all, the rogue trader was killed, and who knows what's happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I'm not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I'm duty-bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you, to find your footing as quickly as possible, and to do that I must insulate you from the problems that in the past have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out the ship's regulation. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed access to requirements. Theodora trusted in established procedures, and she died. I won't make the same mistake. If you want to keep building the future of the Von Valancian Protectorate with me, stop living in the past. I understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain and Rogue Trader. Accept it and start living in a new world. A world where Theodora is gone and where you and I have new decisions to make. Prosperity of Von Valancian's Protectorate is just as important to me. You're the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things are run on this ship. I think in the future I will follow your recommendations. I value what Theodora created, and I trust that the situation is an aberration in the ship's otherwise smooth operation. Since the established procedures are working, I see no reason to change them. I've seen plenty of sentiment and handwriting in recent days, but very little competence. I have no plans to rely on your judgment or your tried and tested procedures in the future. Understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain and Rogue Trader. Accept it and start living in a new world. Yes, Lord Captain. Your resolve is admirable and demonstrates strong leadership. I'll remember this moment should my old habits ever begin to creep back in. Now please let us leave the lower decks. We cannot leave lower decks because we need the stupid valves to work.
It's about time. I'll lay claim to
Why don't you work? How many times am I supposed to press on a fucking valve? I did it in alpha, now I can't do it in beta.
None shall stand in my way.
Fuck is this? Only if I missed a valve somewhere, but I doubt, man. I know it opens a hidden room.
Victory awaits.
It is irritating. Fuck it, if I can remember how I did it back then.
Follow my lead. Something of interest.
There's a bloody valve. And we got goods.
Who thought that was a good idea?
What in the world?
And now the rest are gone.
Lesson learned.
And now I can lockpick.
A soldier would have been disciplined for such a
Because the rest of them are gone, man. Come on. What was the last save? I think it's a good save. Yeah, it's good.
It's about time. lay claim to the stars.
Over there.
Was a shameful failure.
Over.
Melt the charges. Eh,
A new challenge for me?
whatever, I guess. Let's speed this up. We go to the map. Right, done. And we leveled up. But I won't level them all. This should be level 10, I think. Should be level 10. Okay, let's begin. Leader. We only got to pick an ability this time. Nothing else. 1, 1, 1, 1. This is low now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pick remove burn, bleed, toxin, and stun. Get back in a fight. Leader, Cassia. We're gonna pick Arrow Authority. On Pasqal, it's level 10. On Pasqal, we're going off. We have 2 on Pasqal. Look at Pasqal, how strong he freaking is. What you got down there? That world. Very melee. Tides of Excellence trigger clues. You gain damage and armor. He can one-shot with melee. That way. You're gonna go with Medicam. Apply. Argentina. You're gonna go with... And they're going to shoot, so nah. Immediately spend their action move points, gain bonus to cover efficiency. When you use shot on a run, you gain all of the spent action and movement points back, plus 1 additional action point, reset the cooldown of all soldier abilities. except for shot on the run. You can basically play twice with ready go. It's like combo ready go, shot on the run. You can shoot with 0 action points without getting the movement penalty. And the advanced burst fire. Let's go with ready go and test it out with ballistics. We apply. We got adapt again. When the combat starts, you gain 25% increased hit chance once. Once you score a crit, the effect is removed. Deal additional damage with a sniper. But they need to have a clue. We go with a sharpshooter. And here we're gonna go with we're gonna go with logic. The large slice. You either use charge or slice. You dash through an enemy on the opposite side of the enemy and make a melee with 50% reduced damage. It does not provoke attack of opportunity with break lines. Down. Priority target on a willpower test. The fighter marks a target, gaining toughness bonus to armor, strength. Target attacks the fighter during this round. Fighter gains 1 action point. We go with a sworn enemy this time. And with athletics. And we say apply. Level them all up. Let's ride. Still this bug on a bridge, man. We need to go to check out if the prison works. If not, then we're going to Rykad Minoris and check the journal once we arrive over there, because we need the crew. Let's see if it's bugged or not. There was a quest with a soldier, and so much from that. Tell me I can access Rykad Minoris. Starport bunker, electrodynamic synovium. There's the bunker, there's the starport, there's the synovium. Not explored, not explored, not explored. What do you mean not explored? Shit with this Minoris, man. We need to find Heinrichs. Yo. Now, what would be my team when I find Heinrichs? That's a good question. Who is out? Argenta. We need her. I think Idira is out. It says not visited, and I was here, man.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Give me the crew, Medine. Nothing. Where do I get the crew from?
Follow my lead.
Investigate Adeptus Mechanicus Monastery on Rykad Minoris. I am on Rykad Minoris. Head to the monastery. In what sector is the monastery? Examine the data. Crew suffer losses. Find the crew on Rykad. I am on a Rykad Minoris, man. Now where is that shit? Go to this whatever the fuck it is, thoroughfare. Lower levels, eastern coast, and the command center. Where's the church? Where's the church? It's not on the lower levels that I'm sure of. None of these. Let's go to the eastern. Again, it's not here. Warehouse, downstairs, and the starport. Let's get out and then land again on one of those two places. Why are you dragging? And the other ones I'm teleporting. Come on.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
So, I also figured out the order of how you should do things. Okay. As far as chapter 1 goes. Once you enter chapter 1, you go straight for Cassia. Straight for Cassia. Then you go for Pasqal. Then you go to prison. Then you return back on Minoris where you found Pasqal and you clear Minoris. That's the correct way to do chapter 1.
A new challenge for me. About time.
Guards. Sergeant Malgar. We go up. Then we land again, cause I really don't know what's happening. Where's the church? Where on earth is that church? Bunker, starport, Cenobium. What's the bunker? Like again, it dragged me over. Where is that? Investigate Adeptus Mechanicus Monastery on Rykad Minoris. The rogue traded to Loser Interrogator to aid him in his missions and his whereabouts are cut down. It might be easier said than done. All of my quests are like they're not there. Investigate Adeptus Mechanicus Monastery on Rykad Minoris. No matter what I click, it teleports me here, man. What are you doing? Never seen a longer load. Something's wrong. Very wrong. Oh, that's bad. This is bad. Alt F4 of this. It can't load for that long. Where's the church? It ain't shown on a map, I don't know where it is. And Heinrichs is there.
Victory awaits!
I mean, I can roam around like this, but check everything in detail.
A new challenge for
Every
me.
corner of the map, everywhere. But I doubt. I was still okay. Been everywhere. Did everything. Makes no sense.
None shall stand in my way. I won't tolerate weakness.
This makes no sense.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
That's where the commander was. Shit.
Follow my lead.
Makes no sense.
Victory awaits. A new challenge for me? I won't tolerate weakness.
It makes no fucking sense. I'll explore the previous two areas. Down there was a warehouse that leads to the sewers. And we need to find a church. Let's roam around this
None
area
shall
then.
stand in my way.
That looks like it. But it's not.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
I don't know. I really don't know now. First time I got stuck since I started. It says I need to be on Rykad Minoris. Simple as that.
Victory awaits.
Lower levels.
A new challenge for me. Follow my lead! It's about time.
Well, fucking now, man.
None shall stand in my way.
Command center.
A new challenge for me?
Eastern coast. But you go to the lower level, but I doubt the church is in a lower level. That would be fucking stupid.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Makes no sense. Upstairs, thoroughfare, sewers.
I won't tolerate weakness.
This is to go up. Church could be here somewhere, maybe. I don't know. How can I know? Not shown on the map. I've been to every corner.
Follow my lead. A new challenge for me.
Could be this. Blocked with the rubble from the other side. Like, where on earth to go, man?
I'll lay claim to the stars.
This leads to the starport. We know it's not there. Like, yeah.
Victory away. I won't tolerate weakness. None shall stand in my way. It's about time.
Investigate Adeptus Mechanicus Monastery on Rykad Minoris. Adeptus Mechanicus Monastery. Please tell me it's this. Please tell me it's this. I don't have any more options. Please. Man, shit, man, I don't know where the monastery is. Says it's on Rykad Minoris.
I am at your service.
They say a little bit of humility never hurt anyone. I help others. I won't tolerate weakness.
Check all three. Rykad Minoris. Majoris, it's Minoris. Yeah, I can access Rykad Filia. Starport. I really wish I knew. But I don't. Mm-hmm. Oh, hallelujah, man. Hallelujah. Okay, we're here. I was worried for a second that it's a bug. Next part, Electrodynamic Synovium, the monastery. I'll be seeing you on the next part. Thanks for watching.